have to say, happy independence, Nigeria. We just celebrated our 59th anniversary of the independence. The mood in the country has been one of some jubilance. Some people have been on the fence. Do we really have anything to celebrate? Are we really celebrating? Are we really independent? We are independent, but, you know, we still have our challenges. But as we delve into the show, we will talk a little bit more about that, the mood of the country and where everything is going. But for now, I have some guests in the studio with me today. On my left, or both of them are on my left, I have Tolani Alake of Pulse NG. Motolani, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And also Tosin Adeda of Adeda Media. Tosin Adeda Media, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Both of them are entertainment journalists and writers. They are hot on the music scene, hot on the pop culture scene. And of course, one of the biggest topics on everyone's lips since yesterday has been the beef, shall I say, the hip-hop beef between rapper MI and Vector. Both of them are rappers. And the story so far is that there's been some friction between both rappers for quite some time now, more or less one from one end to the other. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And one of the rappers, Vector, Lanre, I believe is his full name, and MI, who is Judah Baga, have been at it for quite a bit. Vector fired off some really scathing verses he released 2 weeks ago, titled The Purge.
Yes, The Purge.
And MI responded yesterday morning with an EP. I believe it's an EP with about 5 tracks, but the lead one is Viper, which was a direct response to Vector's shots fired. And so, guys, I'm happy to have you both in the studio today. Thank you so much for coming. Who owns the hip-hop scene? That's the question on everyone's lips. And I think Nigeria should hear from you guys, the experts.
Who goes first?
Whoever wants to go first.
Well, no, but you can't say particularly that somebody owns the hip-hop scene. Are you talking about between MI and Vector, or generally?
However.
Well, the Nigerian hip-hop scene is not really, you can't say it's owned by anybody.
Okay.
But who is, let's talk about the greatest rappers of all time. Arguably, you definitely put MI there. But if you're talking about who owns the Nigerian hip-hop scene, you might want to go to the mainstream. And for now, there's a guy called Zlatan, who is the most popular rapper in Nigeria right now. That's it.
But in terms of longevity on the scene, between Vector and MI, what are your thoughts on what is happening right now? Okay, scratch the longevity aspect of it. Between MI and Vector, what would you say has been the reason for all this rancor so far?
Basically, it's normal in music, in rap music, for rappers to go at each other. Like everybody wants to be number one, and in the course of that, there will be some beef, and it's just normal. MI has been arguably number one for a while, and Vector is good enough to be number one, but he's not number one.
Why is that? Why has Vector not been able to hold on to that crown categorically, have it given to him? Because MI didn't just crown himself, it would seem. The people did crown him king of rap in Nigeria. Motolani, some people say Vector's track Kilode, which he featured in his 2010 album State of Surprise, he referred to MI as a kid, is where this beef started from. And you've been following it very, very closely. In fact, back to back, as they say. You've been following it. Can you unbundle a bit of the story for us?
Well, so you have these two guys, very marketable, very likable guys. They were contemporaries.
They were contemporaries?
Yeah, contemporaries.
No, are they? Because is there an age difference? And one did come out long before the other. Well, I remember MI has been on the scene since 2008. Actively.
Yes.
Yeah, so
they are contemporaries. And though MI released this album, his debut album 2008, talk about it. Vector released this debut album state of surprise in 2010. But before MI got to Lagos, Vector had been under. People who had been in Nigerian hip-hop industry knew Vector. So sort of when MI came in, Vector was sort of quote-unquote the underdog. I mean, when MI came in, Vector was sort of, MI was sort of quote-unquote the underdog. But the problem was, 2008 MI released Safe, and it was a
huge hit.
Blew everybody away. So, between then and when Vector released this debut album, people were sort of pitting them against each other. They were sort of saying, oh, this is this person, that is this person. So Vector had to address it on that song, and he said, oh, we rapped Kilo Day, what do you want from me? Why are you asking if I could kill him? He's the cool kid. The word kid, MI said it on the song yesterday, on the Viper yesterday, that on your first single, that was Vector's first single. He said, I've always thought that you hated me. But for Vector, who I spoke with a few days ago, he said the beef, he didn't think the beef started there. He said the beef started when he did the remix to Oleku, Ice Spice's song.
Interesting. Okay. So I put out a statement on his Instagram where he wrote concerning, he accused Vector of envy and bitterness. Do you think that is true? Do you think there's any truth to that at all, that Vector is just after him out of spite, possibly because one's career took off more visibly than the other?
Well, beef is inevitable in hip-hop, or in music generally. Go back to Nigerian music history. You have Ilimuri and Orlando battling it out. You had Fuji artists giving it to each other. Go to the West, you have people going at each other. I wouldn't say exactly that it's bitterness. Beef is a result of mutually assured respect or condescension, mutually assured condescension. Between Emma and Vector, I would say it's a mixture of both. I wouldn't say it was bitterness or anything. But Emma did really call Vector out. I wouldn't exactly say it's bitterness, to be honest. I would just say it's competition, basically.
Okay. Tosin, so the gloves are out. The jury is also out. Who do you think won this battle?
I don't know if the battle is over yet, but from what we have now, I think
So far.
I think MI has the upper hand so far. MI has this way of winning at the game. Like, he has a way of making everybody believe and buy anything he does.
Into what he's doing.
He has a way of shaping the mindsets of people. He has a way of being on everybody's side.
Apart from this battle, personally, who do you think is a better rapper, MI or Vector?
Okay, so...
Because this is a 10-year-old debate we're talking about now, or maybe 11 years now. So who is a better rapper to you?
I would go for MI because, not because he's lyrically better than Vector, but because he makes music. And over the years, I have come to love a rap for the music, not just for the punchlines and the metaphors. I want to hear music. I want to hear stories. I want you to paint a picture in my head.
So are you saying that Vector doesn't paint these pictures? He doesn't emote. He doesn't give these stories. He doesn't emote.
No, he doesn't. Like, for me, he doesn't.
And for you, Motolani,
right? He doesn't for me.
Who is the better rapper?
Who is a better rapper to you?
It's a complicated question.
Is it?
It is, kind of. Vector is a good rapper.
Yes, he is.
He is a good rapper. He can cook up verses and bars that might fly over your head if you don't listen to them well. People can call them corny, but that's what it is. But who is a better rapper? Over the past 10 years, it's easily going to go to MI. But I would say that people don't give Vector enough credit, and it's only because he has not created the bodies of work to actually be able to get himself into this conversation.
So are you saying that Vector, given time, could still become a better rapper than MI, given time?
The time is gone.
The time
is gone. MI is already in the greatest of all time.
In the category of the greatest of all time. Out of Nigeria, out of Africa?
Out of Nigeria, out of Africa. Yes.
You know, it's funny. MI gave a list. He presented a list in this diss track, in the Viper, where he lists out 5 rappers. No, he calls about his... Okay, I'm sorry. So before this, there was a cipher that was dropped where MI listed 5. He says there's only 6 rappers who did it well before me. 2 of them are South African, 3 are South African, 1 is Kenyan, and then bring it back home. Shout out to the greats, and so on and so forth. What did you think of MI's breakdown now in the Viper track of the names he listed?
Of the names he listed
Yes.
from the Viper or
from the Viper now?
Well, from the Viper, you wouldn't exactly call Vector an indigenous rapper, although he raps in Yoruba sometimes. But the conversation that MI tries to put him into is kind of unfair, because Vector predominantly doesn't rap in Yoruba, and he says you are not one of the best from Yoruba land. Yes, he's not, but then Vector raps in English. You can't put him into a conversation and say these guys are better than these guys rap in Yoruba. I don't know. I don't think that's fair.
Vector, his body of work so far, while very strong, a lot of people have also credited him with ushering in a new, sort of like a new way or a new wave or a wave of his own into the industry. Who are some of the people you think that Vector has put on or has brought to the forefront?
Let us go.
Tosin, please.
I don't know of anybody, I don't know of anyone. I don't know of anyone.
Maseladi?
Well, I can't specifically pinpoint anyone.
But you did say something interesting, so let me go back to that. You said you spoke to Vector a couple of days ago. What is Vector's state of mind, if you can say on his behalf?
Well, I wouldn't want to put too much out there if he doesn't want me to put those things out there. But I would say it's a beef. the state of mind, he might not tell you, but it's competitive. He's a competitor, he's a rapper. And rap is competitive sport, it's contact sport.
Even globally.
His state of mind, I would say it's chilling right now. That's it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
He's chilling, he's just happy.
He's happy?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Do you think that Vector is going to come back after this Viper with something else? Do you think he has something up his sleeve?
You can't rule Vector out of anything.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like that he has been, consistently, even though, diss tracks are sort of important for the hip-hop culture, I do like that he has been the one person who has somewhat consistently taken on MI. What are your thoughts on that consistency, like chipping away? Because they say winning is really is a function of consistency and persistence, I suppose. So what is your take on that?
Well, he's not the first person to actually go at MI.
No, Kelly Handsome, I remember, had a moment. Iceberg Slim.
Iceberg Slim also went at MI. Well, I wouldn't say consistently. Consistently, maybe. But MI has had some adversaries over the years. None of them have been able to actually come out and give it to him. But Vector actually came out and gave it to him because MI, on that cipher that we were talking about, said, when you're ready, it's going to be a seismic event. And Vector said, okay, now I am ready. They had been going at each other over the past 10 years on ciphers, songs, even on one song that they were together with VJ Adams. Give it to MI on that song. So...
But why does it seem like MI is the only target? What is it about MI that people just have to keep trying to chip at?
Let's let Tosin go at this.
Tosin, of course. Actually, this was for Tosin.
MI is like the most successful rapper out of Nigeria. And he has been up there since his first album. So anybody who wants to go at anybody will go at MI because everybody wants to be at the top.
It sort of reminds me of like the mafia system where when there's an old don and a boss and then there's some new cats on the scene and they want to take over, you go straight for the top. If you fall, at least you're going to fall, in the ranks, like a little below, but that's sort of how it seems, doesn't it? But things like this in America, for example, in the Western world, they often degenerate into full battles, sometimes even, it gets really, really bad and people die. Is it possible to just enjoy a diss track and it remains a diss track, or has it become more, do you think, with the advent of social media?
I didn't get the question. Are you saying that it might degenerate
So in America, over time, in the history of hip-hop, it's often degenerated. I mean, Tupac and Biggie, one of the most prominent rappers of our generation, died in their prime. Now, I'm not saying anyone is dying in Nigeria today or tomorrow, but now with social media, it's sort of changed the way people fight these fights. So there's no physical altercations, but is it possible for a diss track to just be that and not become something or the other, even on social media? Because I'll say this because on MI's social media page, there were a lot of comments, a lot of celebrities. You know, I don't want to name any names right now, but there was a particular female rapper who left a comment and people just went in on that. You know what I mean? So is it not possible for people to just enjoy it for what it is? Does it always have to be so much more than that?
Fans will always be fans, and people will always pick sides, you know, and fans can go way overboard sometimes, you know, and it's just normal. It's just normal for me if I'm a fan of A to stick with A, and anybody who says A is not doing well, I go at the person. It's just normal. But for as long as it stays online, it does not get into the streets, you know, no violence.
We don't want that.
Music, banter.
We want good music. Absolutely.
Fine.
Motalani, do you think that both of them would ever collaborate on a track?
Beef has a way of just sipping out, and maturity has a way of coming in.
I mean, we've seen it with Meek Mill and Drake. We've seen
it with Nas and Jay-Z.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Beef has a way of just, when maturity comes in, clarity comes in. And when clarity comes in, you have a way of talking things out and finding a way to, finding a level playing field to actually be able to communicate and do certain things. With with Jay-Z and Nas, they found a way. Even Nas came onto Def Jam when Jay-Z was president. So I think over time, both of them will definitely still find a common ground. They will definitely do that. But at this time, no, it's not going to happen.
Do you even think that the fans will want for something like that to happen?
Stunt culture is a problem. Stunt culture is a big problem. Stunt culture finds a way to amplify everything and take it from 0 to 50. And from there, if your fans are telling you to do certain things, they kind of influence the way you think. I don't think fans will want it for it to end because it's exciting. It's the most exciting thing we've had since 2017. But it's kind of funny that MI was the same person that brought the excitement in 2017.
What happened in 2017? You rappers should fix up your life.
Yes, exactly.
That was also a sore point for Vector.
No,
I'm sorry, not Vector, for everybody. But I feel like Vector also, he responded to that.
Did he?
Yeah, at a show.
Yeah, he did.
At Chinko's
He
show.
did, yes, exactly. Chinko Homecoming.
Yeah.
He did, exactly, he did.
So he has been itching for it for a long time.
Yes.
No, I wasn't there. I watched it.
It's online.
So very quickly, what is your favorite Vector song?
Angeli, featuring Nice.
And what's your favorite MI song?
Man, it's a lot.
Tolani.
It's a lot.
Why are you thinking about it? What's your favorite MI track?
MI track, I don't know.
What's your favorite Vector track?
Shama Wawalo, track 2 from State of Surprise.
Nice, nice. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope you guys maybe get to come back. Maybe there'll be more that will unfold before the week is through.
Yeah,
I mean, Emma is performing on one of the biggest shows today.